Jimmy Hensley looking at the back of Hensley's car. He must have got back in the lead lap.
He has. But now he isn't. Now there's 17 on the lead lap.
Yeah, he hasn't made that pit stop. He and Bill Elliott haven't stopped yet.
Oh, they're still
long. In fact, they should. If this thing goes green the rest of the way, there's two cars that definitely should be able to make one less pit stop than everybody else.
Napa field summary.
Incorrect in saying that Earnhardt had a problem. He slowed down down the straightaway and a couple of cars went by him. So evidently he ran out of fuel coming off this flat corner or something like that, because he did slow dramatically. I thought he might have lost a cylinder, but I was incorrect.
Davey Allison continues to lead, but there's a real question at this point as to whether things are going to work out because of his fuel mileage. Jerry, what else have you learned?
Well, that's exactly right, Bob. In fact, Ned hit it square on the head a minute ago. Ned was saying that Davey may need 3 fuel stops. Indeed, he will need 3 pit stops, whereas most of the others up there will need only 2. So what they are going to try to do here is ask Davey to conserve fuel. As strong as he is, he just needs to be able to stay out of traffic, stay out of trouble, and, of course, be up front and try to conserve some fuel. Meanwhile, someone who's not wanting to worry about fuel right now is on pit road. That's the Budweiser Ford of Bill Elliott. You got to wonder if this is going to help or hurt Bill Elliott as he is making a pit stop. They have already changed right side tires. Now the Budweiser Cruise Captains are on the left side of that car. So he is in on lap 112. He will need at least one more. He'll need 2 more stops.
And Jimmy Hensley finally came in too. So Bill Elliott getting awfully good gas mileage. He and Jimmy Hensley both getting very good gas mileage here today.
Well, everybody else came in before the halfway mark. It's lap 112 now, and Elliott and Hensley just now making their stops. Hensley takes the Trop Arctic Phillips 66 car out of the pits, and Bill Elliott is also away. We'll be right back. Back at Pocono, where Davey Allison continues to lead the Miller Genuine Draft 500. Kyle Petty running second, and Alan Kowicki is in third position. Well, you know, last year when we had Buffet Benny, he ended up with a pie in the face here at Pocono International Raceway. We aren't doing Buffet Benny anymore. We're doing Benny's World. And I wonder what in the world Benny's World found here at Pocono this year. Let's find out, huh?
So, Joe, how's it going? It's going real good, Benny, but there's something I've been meaning to tell you. We've got to change your image. I mean, a Winston Cup former star, one thing, but now you're a TV celebrity. You got to look the part, and you need a little work. Oh. And I got something here that's going to take care of it, Benny. Trust me.
Hey, I'm ready.
All right, come on, let me check.
Okay.
Benny, this is going to take a lot of work and constant attention, so I got your Winnebago motorhome to follow you anywhere you want to go, and Corinne, your own personal stylist.
Oh my God, it's Benny Parsons.
Well, hi.
Hi, welcome. What can I do for you?
Make me look like that.
Like that?
Yes. What do you think?
Sure.
Is this the chair?
Sit right down there and let's get right to work.
Okay.
How you doing?
Great. You a race fan?
Oh, yeah, I love the races.
Good. Okay, let's go.
Benny? Hi, how you doing?
Great.
Joe sent me. How can I be of service to you today?
I got a little crick in my neck. Can you fix me up?
Sure, sure. I'm the staff masseuse.
Oh, you are?
Yes.
Oh.
How's that?
That's wonderful. Wonderful. Ah, feels good.
Joe said you were in the mood for a little scalp massage here, too, today.
Yeah, right.
How's that?
Jiggins eats your heart out, huh? That's wonderful.
You disgust me, Parsons. I tell you what, my next contract with ESPN is going to include a Bob's World.
No. I like Mitty Miller. Pretty good-looking girl, huh?
Yeah, she's a good-looking girl.
Talk, Bob.
Miss Pocono, Miss Miller Genuine Draft. That must have been fun. Did your wife know you did that?
It was her idea.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Okay, let's catch
catch you up on
Yeah,
what's
let's
been
go
happening
back
on
to
the
the
racetrack.
race.
Okay, there's
Let's get
Davey
our
Allison
mind
still
on better
leading.
things.
Now, while that was going on, Rusty Wallace made a pit stop, had a vibration in his car. Morgan Shepherd apparently has lost a cylinder on the Citgo Ford. He's running at a slower pace out there. Dave Marcus is in the pits now, going down pit road, can't get it cranked. And so he might even be headed to the garage area. Yes, he is. Dave Marcus headed to the garage area.
So that brings us up to date?
Well, reasonably so.
I missed all that while I was watching Benny's work.
Hey, the yellow flag is out for the first time on lap 117. For the first time this afternoon, Royal Ford has the yellow again.
Sterling Marlin and Ken Schrader are glad to see it. They were just about to go a lap down. We said earlier that Sterling perhaps had lost a cylinder, and he was just about to go a lap down, so now he'll get a little reprieve here.
Been a long time coming. Jerry, how come we got a yellow here? I don't see anything.
We were told a minute ago that Greg Sachs in the car number 41 had broken a shock absorber, and now some of the drivers are ready, and then they see a piece of a shock absorber laying on the racetrack, so that will diagnose Greg Sachs' problem, unfortunately for him. But for the crews, particularly Davey Allison, who needed a pit stop, they are all going to come in under this first caution flag of the day. Let's go up pit road to John Kernan.
Jerry, you talked about several of the drivers. I believe Kyle Petty was the first one. He was traveling along and saw the shot come off of Greg Sachs' car. He radioed it in to Robin Pemberton, who told a NASCAR official, and as a result, we've got a caution for debris out on the racetrack.
Elmo Langley has the pace car out. He's picking up the leader.
We still got 34 cars on the racetrack, fellas, and 33 of them saw that out there. Wanted this caution.
All but one.
And maybe Davey Allison.
Maybe he did too, so we can get some fuel.
Elmo in the GMC Pace truck.
Yep, I incorrectly identified it as the Pace car. It's the Pace truck. It's a tradition here at Pocono. Should have those lights on the top going, it seems like. Anyway, we can see those on the lead lap are flanking off and coming in. Namely, Davey Allison, Kyle Petty, Alan Kulwicki, Mark Martin, and Ricky Rudd. Cherry is in the leader's pit.
Well, for the very first time today, these crews will be able to battle head-to-head as everyone on the lead lap will make an entry on the pit road. Davey Allison's Haviland crew getting ready to try to see if they can perform under some pressure here. The caution out, but they will try to beat other people out, including the windshield. NASCAR has allowed an 8th man over the wall now to clean some windshield as the crew members have complained of oil in the front part of the windshield. Left side tires on the Davey Allison car. Let's check into the Kyle Petty pit.
Remember, these guys had an excellent pit stop. One's in motion right now. Kyle guns the engine is away. 4 tires and fuel. Jerry?
Davey Allison's car pulls away. Meanwhile, behind him, and Allison and Kyle Petty. But Kyle Petty will be the first one to get back to turn 1. So once again, an outstanding pit stop by Robin Pemberton and the Mellow Yellow crew.
Boy, they are doing a fine job getting Kyle in and out of the pits. He's going to lead Davey out of pit road. Mark Martin is third, and coming back here, Ricky Rudd passing Alan Kulwicki.
Well, if Kulwicki got across that white line before Ricky Rudd, then that's not a legal pass. He'll have to.
There's Ken Schrader, who is also in. He was just about to, he was in 14th position when the caution came out.
But Kulwicki's not getting his car up to speed. Doesn't look to me like as Musgrave and Dale Jarrett, Brett Bodine, Sterling Marlin, and Jeff Bodine all leave the pits. Going out on the racetrack to pick up that piece of shot.
We are under caution for the first time this afternoon because of debris on the racetrack. We'll be back with more in just a moment at Pocono. Well, there are the top 5 in NASCAR Winston Cup points coming into this race, and on the right is where they're running at the moment. Davey Allison has led most of the way, but because he fell in behind Kyle Petty coming to the pits, he's second right now. Bill Elliott has struggled somewhat today, running 21st. Kulwicki is 5th, Gant is 6th, and Dale Earnhardt has also had a very disappointing performance here at Pocono this afternoon in 24th spot. Well, the 15 car, Jeff Bodine, is on pit road, but the hood is up on it, or it was.
Well, they closed the hood. They're trying to beat the pace car, pace truck. I keep calling the car too, and Bodine leaves the pits as the truck comes off turn 3, so he will safely get back on the racetrack without losing a lap.
Fellas, that's 3 of the Fords that are having some sort of problems. The 21 car, the Citgo Ford of Morgan Shepherd, he had the hood up when he made a pit stop too. In fact, he's coming back into the pits right now. But we had said that he'd lost a cylinder, and Sterling Marlin, so
once again, we take a break from our hesitation here at Pocono. We'll be right back. How's this for goes out, and we are back to racing on lap 124. First caution of the day is concluded. We picked up the debris on the racetrack, and now we're back to competition with Kyle Petty leading and Davey Allison running second, and everybody else scrambling for position.
And Rusty Wallace trying to get his lap back. Has Kyle Petty hung up on the outside as Mark Martin and Davey Allison retakes the lead.
Yeah, Rusty lost a lap on an unscheduled pit stop. Terry Labonte also out there. He's a lap down. He wants to stay out and try to get his lap back. Kyle Petty is staying out on the outside.
He's dropping
Because
back
he can't get back in there. There's Ricky Rudd on the inside of him. Mark Martin right behind Ricky Rudd.
And Kyle's hung out there and just simply can't get back to the inside. Now, hit the brakes and come left. There you go. Ooh, who's that on the outside of Mark Martin?
Davey Allison has Terry Labonte on the outside of him.
That was Alan Kawicki trying to get by Mark Martin on the outside up in the flat corner. Wasn't able to make the pass.
So it's Davey leading and Ricky Rudd running in second spot. And then comes Kyle and Mark and Alan. Boy, 3 wide going in there. They get down into 2 abreast.
All those green cars got side by side.
Yeah. Dale Jarrett got hung out on the outside there as well, and that cost him a few positions.
There's Wally Dallenbach running ahead of Ken Schrader.
He's hung on the outside. Every time we see that boy seems to be hung on the outside.
Yep.
And when you get out there, as you see Schrader on the outside, all those guys on the preferred line on the inside go by you.
It's almost like a Talladega, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
There's Bill Elliott.
With the Phillips 66 car looking back from the rear bumper, Bill Elliott.
Bill is all the way back in 25th spot.
And we see that Davey Allison has passed Rusty Wallace to put him a lap down. Man, these guys just aren't. They all just keep jockeying for position down through there. No one's content to stay where they are.
Now they all get in single file. That's where they wanted to be, was in single file. But they'd rather be in single file in front of the guy that they're running behind.
Exactly. Dallenbach and Schrader. Schrader dives inside. Now we look at Dallenbach's team car. Mark Martin of Avalon Ford as he follows Kyle Petty.
Oh, that's all pretty close there.
Pure Letter Chevrolet.
Gary Copeland. Oh, he got way down on the rumble strip.
Yeah.
It still is. Wow.
I think that car bounced when he gets down.
Ooh, we see him get a little bit sideways. That gives Martin the momentum.
Look at this.
Martin pushing him or what?
Man, oh man.
He had to be pushing him. Wiki goes with him.
Yep, Wookie's right behind Mark. Fastest cars all day. He won here in June. More information from Dr. Jerry Punch.
Bob, an additional 7 seconds through that last caution flag pit stop might just pay off for Alan Kawicki here in the last few laps, the last 70 laps of the race. They took some time to remove a rubber spacer from the right front of the car. Alan had complained, and I'm not sure why you would complain as well as that car's been running, but the car was too tight in the first 100 laps and said, now we'll loosen the car up a little bit and we can go after it. So we'll see if it's going to work.
Staying right in there behind Mark Martin. Here comes another Napa field summary. We run down the complete field for you as they were running last time around. Not 5 or 10 or 15 laps ago. This is the way they were running last time.
And we said that Ricky Rudd was running second.
Yes, I pointed that out.
Good, I was not paying attention.
Now those are the 15 cars that are in the lead lap, fellas.
Yep.
Now they're 1 lap down. Rusty Wallace is the first of those. And Terry Labonte right up front there. And here's Ricky Rudd going around Rusty Wallace.
You know, you normally think of Ricky Rudd as one of those that performs well on road courses, and we often compare this to a road course, and he certainly is showing his stuff today, running in second spot.
He is started on the outside pole. As a matter of fact, Davey also started on the pole. The 5-star Ricky Rudd started on the outside, and here we are, 127 laps in the race, and
we haven't done a thing.
Nothing
It's still first and second.
a couple of things have changed.
Yeah, Bernie Irvin is out of the race for one thing. Earnhardt Earnhardt has had a bad race. Haven't had any accidents at all so far. Only one caution. That was for debris on the track. Here's some side-by-side racing as Dick Trickle and Derek Cope, Brett Bodine.
Darrell Waltrip on the outside, the Western Auto Chevrolet.
All sneak up on Richard Petty.
Darrell backs off.
Trickle is into 8th place. Brett Bodine is 9th.
He's trying to take over that 8th spot. He looks on the inside.
Yes.
Takes that spot away.
Here comes Darrell.
Darrell, he doesn't. I guess he did know he was there. Man, it always scares me. See Rick Mast, the Skoal Classic car, trying to get by these guys. Rick Mast is the 27th spot. He's 2 laps down to the leader.
And Chad Little pulling out down on the inside. Dale Jarrett follows him to pick up a little bit of draft.
And there's Martin and Kulwicki behind Labonte and Kyle.
Here comes Kulwicki on the inside, taking a look. Looks like he's got him, Bob.
He's got him going into the tunnel turn.
Now Martin should come back as he come off this corner, back up on the back bumper. Not that much.
I'll tell you, that 7 car is fast.
He is important. Has moved to 4th. Want to again mention, for those of you who watched Saturday Night Thunder very quickly, that Mac McClellan, the driver who had that terrible accident last night during Saturday Night Thunder, the latest medical condition we had on him, a basal skull fracture, both arms, both hands broken, remaining in the critical care unit of Methodist Hospital in semi-conscious condition. Well, now Kyle Petty has put a lap on Rusty Wallace. We will be back with more from Pocono International after the... When we were here in June, we set a new track record for this race at 142.5 miles an hour. This race is even faster. We're on record pace at over 146 and 131 laps completed with Davey Allison, your leader over Ricky Rudd, Kyle Petty, Alan Kulwicki, Mark Martin, and Harry Gant.
There we see Kulwicki trying to get on the inside of Rusty Wallace to put him a lap down. He makes the pass. Now he can set his sights on Kyle Petty, who's running 3rd.
Terry Labonte also in the shot there. There's an Opel car. He is a lap down.
17th position.
There's Mark.
Rusty Wallace in 16th.
Harry Gant. We haven't talked much about Harry, but by golly, he's hanging in there.
There he is, the Skoal Bandit.
He's 6th.
Is he really?
Yeah.
He finished 23rd here in June, but he had an engine problem, dropped a valve here in June.
Behind him is the 26 car of Brett Bodine. He's 7th.
Brett's coming, fellas. He was 11th when they restarted this race, and he is definitely coming back up to the pack.
Now here's a battle for 3rd spot. Kulwicki to the inside of Kyle Petty. Passes him. Kulwicki is now 3rd.
And it's a little bit of distance up there to Ricky Rudd, so. And even a greater distance up to Davey Allison. So Kulwicki's moved his way up to 3rd, but he has his work cut out for him to get to the leaders.
There's Greg Sachs in the 41 car. He's well off the pace.
Harry Gant, Brett Bodine.
And Brett finished 8th here in the June race.
He's currently 7th, and Darrell Waltrip is the 8th place car. There's old DW.
Darrell Waltrip, 3-time winner here at Pocono.
Richard Petty. He's a lap down. Also, Jerry Cope a lap down. They're racing for position. The Trickle is on the lead lap.
Yep,
he's 9th place.
Guy just came in with pits. He went a lap down. Now there are only 14 cars on the lead lap.
And then we see Chad Little behind Trickle. Chad Little is in 20 spot. He's a lap down. 55 car, Ted Musgrave, the Jasper Engine Ford.
He's in the top 10.
Yeah, he's 10th place car. Coach trying to get down on the inside of Richard Petty. There's Dale Jarrett, the Interstate Battery Chevrolet. What's he running, Ned?
11th. Yep. He was in front of Ted Musgrave a little while ago, but Musgrave passed him.
Coach isn't here this week, is he?
Yeah, he flew in this morning.
Did
The
he?
helicopter says he has to leave early this afternoon.
I haven't seen him.
Jimmy Horton is spinning down.
No, he's
out of-
he's
he
pulling
pulled
off
off the track. I thought that thing looked sideways there for a second.
Well, we understand the transmission went out, so Jimmy Horton just pulls it off the racetrack, pulls it up to some fans. It gives them a big thrill as they'll watch Jimmy get out. But the other thing it does, most importantly, is it gets a car well off the racetrack, and there will be no caution.
He go get him a piece of chicken over there somewhere.
There's Schrader. He's 12th.
Hutch Strickland, the Rebestis automobile, following Schrader Chevrolet.
Hud is in 21st position, 1 lap down.
And I assume that is a Chevrolet as well.
Yeah.
The next car in this field is, I don't know. Your eyes are better
21.
than mine.
Yeah, Morgan Shepherd. Who is he?
Well, he's the next car in the running order as far as positions are concerned.
There he is.
Running in 13th position. I would rather go forward. Doing better so far today than he did here in June.
By the way, Glenwood had a birthday yesterday, didn't he? I believe he was 63 yesterday.
There we see Jeff Bodine slowly coming off the corner for him.
Next in the serial scoring.
Sterling Marlin. That caution flag at least saved him getting laps, so he's still in the lead lap. Both these guys, this guy and Jeff Bodine, both. I guess 21 is on 7 cylinders as well.
Yeah,
So both these cars.
they're running about the same speed as a matter of fact. Morgan is there. You see him running pretty close together. Last 2 cars on the lead lap. They're 13th and 14th. Jeff Bodine coming back into the pits once again.
Davey Allison has dominated this race except for pit stops, and he continues to lead with now 136 laps completed. Caution is out at Pocono for the second time this afternoon. This was for our only incident of wall contact, and it wasn't very significant. Behind that safety truck there is the 16 car of Wally Dallenbach Jr. Made contact with the wall in turn number 2. Didn't hit it very hard, but it was enough to make the car come to a stop outside of the tunnel turn on the North Straightaway.
Had to be pretty good lick because he was not able to get the car back to the pits. He had to stop over there in the grass. At least he did pull down in the grass.
He was running in 25th position when the accident occurred. Now we're waiting for the field to come around to see who will make pit stops. Obviously, just about everybody will come in for at least fuel.
Yeah, they should be able to make it on one more pit stop from here, Bob.
At least they fixed the lights on the truck.
Here comes Davey and Ricky and Allen and everybody else. Jerry Punch is in the 28 pit.
Actually, Davey Allison and Ricky Rudd, the top 2 cars, will be pitting just nose to tail here at the far end of pit road. This indeed was a break for Davey Allison. They would have had to make 2 more stops. Now they're making on 1 more after this one. They all come down pit road very deliberately. We would expect to see a 4-tire change here by the Havoline crew. Likewise, 4 tires will be going on the Tide Chevrolet, pitting just behind Davey Allison. Right side tires going on. 1 can of fuel in. Very critical they get the car completely full of fuel here for the Havoline crew. Now Ricky Rudd's team changing left side tires. Right behind the leader, Davey Allison. Left side wheels being rolled up, bolted on, getting ready to pull the jack. The 7 car is in and out. Kowicki is out of the way. Rudd is out of the way. Meanwhile, they're still working on the Havoline car. And now the car stalls for Davey. He refires it and pulls away. It costs him about an extra 7 or 8 seconds.
He lost several positions.
Yes, he did. He lost about 5 or 6 positions.
As strong as that car's been all day, now we're going to find out how strong he really is. Because for the first time, he's got a pass race car.
He has some work on his hands. We'll see how Davey Allison is able to handle it because he's going to fall into about 5th position on the restart. We'll be back with more right after this. Under our second caution of the day because of an accident over in turn number 2 involving Wally Dallenbach Jr. with the Miller Genuine Draft 500. Several of the other cars that weren't on the lead lap now come out from making their pit stop. Well, what's the secret of winning? It's making cars go faster. You do that with horsepower, chassis setup, and a factor called aerodynamics. Here's Benny Parsons.
Aerodynamics has become such a big part of auto racing. This is General Motors wind tunnel in Warren, Michigan. The electric motor you see develops 4,000 horsepower and turns these wooden blades that are 14 feet long. These blades move 80 tons of air and generate speeds up to 150 miles per hour that blows across the Miller Genuine Draft Pontiac. They use a non-toxic smoke that blows across the race car to tell how the air adheres to the car or how it goes over the car. Kevin McFadden, project engineer for General Motors, explains.
Basically what we're trying to do is simulate the aerodynamics that the car is going to have on the racetrack, measuring the drag on the car, lift on the car, both front and rear end, and just try and fine-tune the car, take a lot of the variables that you see on a racetrack out of it, and just get right down to what the body of the car is doing on the racetrack. We sort of have targets as far as front lift and rear lift, what a driver can and can't do. And it's radically different from a qualifying setup to a race setup. Obviously, on qualifying setup, the guy only has to hold on to the car for one lap with nobody else, and consequently, he can drive a car that's much looser. In a race setup, you need a much more stable car that a guy can live with for 4 or 5 hours. And we're at the point now where really we're just fine-tuning the cars, but competition is so close that an extra half a mile an hour can make the difference. So we play with things such as fender openings, tape on the grill, cowls, just very minute things like that. Quarter inch, half inch somewhere can make a big difference. And obviously you can't make radical changes to the car because of the templates. With the level of competition in Winston Cup, you absolutely have to know what the air is doing throughout the car, and even a small change of that can make a quarter mile an hour difference in a car is going to show up on the racetrack.
That's why all the pieces on the front of the car are round. No square edges on the front of these race cars. Even the clips that hold the windshield in use countersunk screws that do not stick up in the wind. Also, the aluminum pieces are filed down so the air goes over them smoothly. The rear window needs to be sloped, so as the air goes over, it goes down the rear window, catches the rear spoiler, and puts downforce on the rear of the car.
It's kind of forbidden territory. Not normally do you get a camera into a wind tunnel facility, and we thank the GM people for allowing us to do that. And not only is it important at aerodynamics for making a car go fast, but it's very important on a super speedway like this with slipstreaming and drafting.
Everybody started it running the high speeds at Daytona and Talladega, but now they have learned that on a track like this, Charlotte, Atlanta, Michigan, and all of those tracks, that they can be advantages as well. Hey, as Mark Martin has a problem here, he's back in the pits with the right side of the car jacked up.
Well, he sure is. They're working on the right side, right front.
And they're about to get lapped. They got to get moving. Okay, they did get moving.
Just barely, though. Let's go down to Jerry Punch, who has another celebrity for us.
We're with Danny Shirley, who's the lead singer of the Atlantic recording artist group Confederate Railroad out of Atlanta. And Danny, your first NASCAR race live. I know you watch a lot of them. Welcome to NASCAR.
This has been great. Joe Mattioli invited us up to play before the race, and we've had a ball.
Now, I understand your new hit video, She Took It Like a Man, has been nominated for Video of the Year, and it features a fellow whose shirt you're wearing. You're Jerry Glanville, the head coach of the Atlanta.
Coach Jerry Glanville, Atlanta Falcons. Yeah, buddy.
Now, Glanville's a big motorsports. He's involved in driving some now, some Busch Grand National.
Yeah, he's been. He just recently got into the driving and doing pretty good, I understand.
Well, good luck on the Video of the Year nomination.
Well, thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Another celebrity here in the pits, Danny Shirley, lead singer for Confederate Railroad. Gentlemen?
They performed in front of the grandstand before the race began, I think. They were good.
Really?
Yeah.
Son of a gun, I was busy and I missed it.
Well, they got the one to go, but now the lights are back on top of the pace truck, and so apparently we're going to go at least one more lap before we get the green. So we'll take another break. We're glad you could join us on this Sunday afternoon as we continue our live coverage of the Miller Genuine Draft 500. We're back at the Miller Genuine Draft 500 from Pocono International Raceway near Long Pond, Pennsylvania. Under our second caution of the day, they're cleaning up some oil over in turn number 3. Our Speed World coverage is being brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? By Fram Oil Filters. Fram, you can pay a little now or a lot later. And by Quaker State. The big Q is one tough motor oil. It's like Burt Reynolds.
Yep. I'll tell you what, it's going to be great to have a weekend off next weekend. This hot sun, lay by the pool.
What do you mean a weekend off? You know where I'm going to be next weekend?
No.
I'm going to be in Portland, Oregon. We're doing Speed Week live out there on Saturday night, and Sunday afternoon we'll be doing a IMSA GTP race with Brabham and Fangio and Jones and all those guys. So I hope you can watch next Sunday afternoon as we do the IMSA race live from Portland.
Well, I've been trying to borrow some money, so I just go borrow it from you, right? You got to be the richest man that I know.
Oh, yeah, right. Well, what makes you say that?
Well, you work every day.
Well, I do.
You must
I
be
don't
getting
get
paid.
next weekend off.
You don't get next weekend off?
No.
What are you doing
I
next
don't ever get a weekend off. Be in Talladega for the Die Hard 500.
We won't be televising that race, but there will be. Here's John Kernan.
Harry Gant is pulled into the pit. You see a crewman leading into the right side. They're putting a battery in. They've had an alternator problem, and he's been shutting off the cooling fans, but the battery that's been in the car is just about dead. So now they're changing batteries and also switching ignitions. Mark Martin is also down pit road with Jerry Punch.
And a minute ago, Mark was in for a lengthy stop. They had a breather line for the transmission that laid over against the headers and was creating some smoke. They came in and jacked it up to remove that area that was contacting the headers, and now it's smoked a little bit more. They decided to bring him back in. It's already at the tail end of the line there, so rather than take a chance on it smoking some more and getting black flagged, they have him back here in the pits, the right side jacked up, and so the Valvoline crew Martin car. We had 144 laps, just 56 away from the completion of the Miller Genuine Draft 500. Back to Pocono after this.
Trackbacks are brought to you by Quaker State. The Big Q is one tough motor oil.
When the Winston Cup teams arrive at the racetrack, they must undergo a very thorough inspection, which includes, among other things, the removal and measuring of the fuel cell. Now, in years past, when the fuel cell was measured, they used a rolling tape measure to determine that it was 33 inches long by 17 wide by 9 1/4. However, depending upon whose tape measure you used and how you looked at it, well, there could be some discrepancy. And crews quickly learned that as much as a 1/4 of an inch discrepancy could translate into an extra half gallon in this tank. And over the course of a long afternoon, that extra half gallon could add up and may mean one less fuel stop. So NASCAR says no more arbitrary tape measures in 1992. Instead, they have built a special fuel cell measuring gauge. Quite simply, insert it across the end of the fuel cell. If it fits, you're okay. If it doesn't, you're illegal.
Fuel very critical at every racetrack, and especially here at Pocono.
Yeah, I don't think there's any track that is more critical than it is here. Or maybe a road course or somewhere, because if you run out of gas here coming off of turn 3, you can't coast back around this racetrack.
Yep. No, you can't. You physically cannot get the car back here. You have to stop out there, and it's 3 or 4 laps before they get someone to push you here. So
this has been an extended caution period. It originally was for Dallenbach's crash out in turn number 2, but they are looking very closely at the entire racetrack right now. Well, a lot of activity coming up next weekend, as we told you about here on ESPN.
Have you seen who's been on Speed Week? Speed Week starts off the Thunder every Saturday night. Catch us this week at 7:30 Eastern, live from Portland, side of the G.I. Joe's Camel Grand Prix IMSA race. You've got the need for Speed Week.
And then the next day on Sunday afternoon at 4 o'clock Eastern Time, live, we'll be at the G.I. Joe's Camel Grand Prix presented by Nissan. That will be at Portland International Raceway. Bit of a change of pace for me, yes. I don't think I've done an IMSA race in several years, but so you might want to tune in and laugh, if nothing else.
I probably will.
Still under caution, they are checking the racetrack for oil. A very thorough examination of the facility before we go back to green. We have just gone back to green on lap 148. The leader of the race is Alan Kolicki. Those 2 cars leading the procession down into turn number 2 are lap cars.
Rusty Wallach and Derek Cope, both guys trying their best to get a lap back. They're in front of the leader right now. If they can stay there, and a caution should come out. They'll be looking good.
Second place belongs to Ricky Rudd. Third is Kyle Petty.
And look at old DW.
Yeah, 4th is Waltrip, and 5th is Davey Allison. see if he picks up that spot. Yes, Davey now moves to 4th.
Car moved up the hill just a little bit. Darrell Waltrip thought about going back inside of him.
Because we wondered if he'd be able to pass cars. He was 7th after those pit stops. And he really is coming back to be able to do it.
Derek Cope moved over to try to draft on Rusty Wallace. And Kawicki and Rudd went by him on the outside. Tell you what, that was a pretty gutsy move on those guys' part.
Here comes Kyle to the inside of Derek.
And the 28 car is going to try to follow.
Yep.
There we see Davey on the inside. He is on the inside of Derek Cope, trying to get by him. And meanwhile, Darrell Waltrip right on the back bumper of Davey.
And here's Mark Martin and Harry Gant battling for position. And 55, Ted Musgrave.
They all made late pit stops.
That's 10th, 11th, and 12th there as up front. Rusty Wallace goes a lap down as Kawicki passes him, and so does Ricky.
Rudd just staying right on the bumper of course there right now. How long can he do that? Rusty gets out of the way now. Kyle Petty.
And he's upside down. Into the guardrail. Side over side. End over end. And Davey Allison has experienced a horrifying crash. Davey Allison. His car is upside down. Fuel is pouring out of it. The safety crew is right there. It stopped just in front of one of the safety trucks. And the 3rd caution of the day is out. Well, just like on Saturday Night Thunder last night, this is the type of thing that we don't like to see in racing.
And of course, it's more apt to happen when the cars are bunched up. And for the first, 300 miles of this race, almost, they were pretty well strung out because we didn't have a caution.
There's a Jaws of Life vehicle coming in with the equipment that they may need to.
Davey's car is upside down.
Well, that
was a good indication.
Yes, it was. Yeah. He clapped his hands. Apparently, Davey is talking to them.
Yeah, that's a good. That was a good indication that, hey, we don't need to cut the guy. He's going to be able to get out of here by himself. Is what I took from that.
That's what exactly the way I read it.
Certainly hope that's what it means. Let's take a look at it again. It happened outside of turn 2.
See some contact between Darrell Waltrip and Davey Allison, and the car just flew through the air.
Well, it got on the air in the air very quickly.
It goes over the top of the guardrail.
Yep.
Flipped right over the top of the guardrail.
It looked very much like Darrell Waltrip's crash at Daytona last year.
Here they come off the corner, and Darrell Waltrip is trying to go by on the inside of Davey Allison, and Davey comes down to try to block that move, and just some contact there, and just as soon as that car touched the grass, it flew.
Turned over.
Now they're not. Are they required to run the skirts on the right side of the cars here like they do at Daytona and Talladega?
I don't believe so, man.
And you can see that once the air got up under the right side of that car, it just flipped it the wrong way. I say the wrong way against the momentum that the car had.
Well, needless to say, we will closely monitor the situation and pass along any information as soon as it becomes available to us on the condition of Davey Allison, who's had a bad crash here at Pocono. .151 of 200 laps have been completed at the Miller Genuine Draft 500. The top 10, Kawicki, Rudd, Kyle Petty, Waltrip, and Brett Bodine. 6 through 10, Ken Schrader, Dick Trickle, Dale Jarrett, Mark Martin, and Harry Gant. We've had a very bad crash here at Pocono involving Davey Allison. The car down in the grass between the 2nd and 3rd turns after slight contact was made with Darrell Waltrip. The car end over end, side over side for many times. Here is the replay of it.
You can see that Darrell Waltrip does just touch the left rear quarter panel of Davey Allison's car and sends him down into the grass. The car gets up on its roof, and then starts barrel rolling, and it rolls over this guardrail. It's a single strand guardrail and lands over next to the other guardrail.
On its top. Now, we do not have a whole lot of information at this time, but the information that we do have is good. Davey Allison is conscious and has been removed from the car. So
some of the spotters are saying that car flipped 9 times in 4 seconds. All we can do is just sit here and pray, and I'm sure that if Liz is here, that Max Helton is a blessing to her right now, the minister, the motor racing outreach fellow that follows the circuit, and a fine man.
Yeah, he is. And still, of course, has the chance to become the first in history to lead the point standings from the very first race until the last. Elmo Langley is in the pace truck with the field behind him under caution for the 3rd time today. Few drivers taking advantage of the caution period to make pit stops, including Kyle Petty.
Also saw Michael Waltrip sitting there with the hood up on the Pennzoil Pontiac.
And Richard Petty is in with his car jacked up on the right side. They're doing something, probably either raising or lowering the sway bar or putting a rubber in a spring or something on the SDP Pontiac.
Trying to make it handle better.
All right.
Richard, let's see if we can find him here in the scoring. 16th.
1 lap down. Very good run here.
Yes, this is his final appearance at Pocono. There is Davey on the stretcher being taken to a gurney that will put him into the ambulance and transported to the nearest medical facility for further attention. And the word we had was that Davey was conscious. We have no other information than that.
Remember, this is not too far from the spot that his father, Bobby, was injured.
That's right.
So severely back in, what was that, 1988?
So brought his career to an end.
Bobby is here.
There's Alan Kulwicki, who is the leader of the race at the moment, right behind the pace truck. We did see Davey's arms moving as he was being transported to the ambulance, so that's another good sign. Yellow is staying out. We thought perhaps this might bring out a red flag situation, but so far we are remaining under caution, and 154 laps have been completed, and there Davey is now being loaded into that ambulance. Boy, let's hope that he isn't seriously injured.
Been a tough year for Davey Allison. You remember Bristol, he crashed, broke some ribs, and North Wilkesboro 2 weeks later, had a relief driver, Jimmy Hinson, standing by, but won the race. And then at Charlotte, he won the Winston and crashed as he crossed the start-finish line, and had to spend the night in the Carolinas Medical Center because he was knocked unconscious. And then just this week has been in the hospital a couple of days.
And in between Charlotte and Bristol, had a hard crash at Martinsville.
That's right.
Now here's a good sign. Watch closely. There you can see Davey moving his left arm up apparently to his forehead, and then he puts it back. So he's moving and he's conscious, and boy, that's good.
Yeah, that is a good sign to see him be able to move his arm himself.
There's the ambulance.
Well, we are under caution, and the cleanup continues back there in the back of the racetrack. And when we're clear, we'll go back to racing and finish up the Miller Genuine Draft 500. That's all that's left of Davey Allison's Haviland Ford Thunderbird, as it overturned about 9 times, we think, in just a matter of seconds between the second and third turns.
Well, it looks like Darrell Waltrip's car at Daytona last year, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a very similar looking crash, really.
Yeah, most of the sheet metal flying off of it.
But again, that's good because that dissipates the they're taking him to the infield care center, and I would guess this is standard operating procedure, although if it were real bad news, I would think they would have the helicopter going already and ready to transport him. So perhaps we're going to get by without airlifting Davey out of here.
Well, we're seeing some good signs.
Yeah, we are.
Well, that time evidently he missed the door because he's backing up again. Saw Robert Yates there, the owner of the 28 car. I see that ambulance just fits the door. They're trying to load the Haviland Star up on the back of the truck. I don't think they can hurt that car. Usually these guys are concerned, Ed, when they load them on the wreckers that the wreckers don't do any damage to them. But I don't think they can hurt that car.
No, they don't need to be concerned about that. Fellas, you have to look back to that pit stop when he had the trouble in the pits and didn't get out, and he dropped back to 7th place. If whatever the situation was there, he wouldn't have been back there.
But yeah, here's a Fram field summary. Kowicki is the leader. Rudd, Waltrip, Darrell, Brett Bodine, Dick Trickle. That's the top 5. Darrell Waltrip's going in the pits. Kenny Schrader, Dale Jarrett, Harry Gant, Ted Musgrave, Morgan Shepherd, Sterling Marlin, Mark Martin, Kyle Petty, all those cars on the last lap. Kyle Petty stopped a couple of laps ago. For some reason, we really don't know. All these cars a lap down.
Through 20. Elliott, boy, he has struggled here, running 20th. Earnhardt also has. He's 18th. On back to Richard Petty in 23rd, and Bobby Hillen, who's carrying one of our in-car cameras, 2 laps down in 25th.
And we see Michael Waltrip back there. He's also 2 laps down. Of course, Davey Allison, as they make these laps during caution, he will eventually just go on down. He's right now being shown as 5 laps down.
Wally Dallenbach had an incident with the wall, a relatively minor one, a few laps ago.
There we see Jeff Bodine back there in 31st position. He's on pit road with the hood up on the Motorcraft Ford again, so he's still out there trying to make as many laps as he possibly can.
Look at that car.
Look at that car, man! Right in front of the tires, where it went over that guardrail, Ned, between the right rear tire and the main roll cage. And
I believe that one is torn up worse than Darrell's was last year at Daytona. If that's possible. Michael Waltrip coming down pit road with a lot of smoke from the Pennzoil Pontiac.
But as that car can look as bad as anything, but yet if that roll cage stayed intact.
Here's what caused it. Once again, Davey's trying to block Darrell getting on the inside of him, and they made some contact. And just as soon as he got on the grass, the car just lifted up and flew like we've seen him do at Daytona.
And you can see the sheet metal flying off the car, and there's where he hits the guardrail and makes that big dent that Benny was talking about there a moment ago. But it's a tribute to the way these cars are built. The roll cage looks like held up, did its job.
Yeah, it does.
And the car is actually sitting on top of the roll cage right now. Yeah, we see the door is stuck down inside the roll cage.
But that roll bar is standing upright.
Looks like it is.
In any case, we don't like to see that kind of thing, and we just hope that Davey is not badly injured. And we'll continue to monitor his condition as he has been transported to the infield medical facility here at Pocono. Well, the laps continue to count off. 156 have now been completed. We've got a race to finish here in a few minutes, so stay with us. We'll be right back. Bob Jenkins, Benny Parsons, Ned Jarrett, John Kearney, Dr. Jerry Punch back at Pocono International Raceway, where we are under caution because of Davey Allison's very serious crash. But Benny, that roll cage looks good.
It does look good, and I tell you what, that bar, the black bar right in the middle of the roll cage that runs horizontal, vertical, whatever, across. See that black bar right there in the center? That's going to save all that stuff from coming in the guardrail, all that other stuff from coming inside the car with Davey.
Let's go down to Dr. Jerry Punch, who is with one of Davey's very best friends, Joey Knuckles.
A crew member, you're right, Bob, and a very close friend of Davey's, Joey Knuckles. And Joey, you were inside a moment ago with Davey. What did they tell you?
They say that he is alert and conscious and knows where he is. And I know Liz tried to call, and, you know, all our families and everything, Debbie and everybody, you know, he's going to be okay. They're checking him over real good and fixing to fly him to the hospital. Our car held up real well. We're just, you know, our prayers are with him.
Well, you can see Joey Knuckles obviously choked up as the rest of the crew have come out, and they have told us that they probably will take him for further x-rays, but fortunately his heart rate seems to be okay. They're checking his lungs for breathing. They want to x-ray him for obvious fractures, but the fortunate thing, as you guys documented, that NASCAR mandated roll cage did its job after that violent flip here just a few minutes ago.
So Davey Allison is alert, conscious, knows who he is, where he is, and boy, that's great considering what it looked like.
I'm telling you, it looked awful. One of the worst crashes I've ever seen in this business, I do believe.
Yeah, it was a nasty one. Well, as I said, we still got about, 42 laps to go, and we'll be finished with this race when we go back to green here at Pocono. ESPN Speed World today at the Miller Genuine Draft 500 NASCAR Winston Cup race from Pocono International Raceway. We're under caution because of this crash. This is Davey Allison's car. And Ned, go to the telestrator there and show us exactly what Benny was talking about with those cross members on the roll cage.
He was talking about this bar here, Bob, that goes across from the front. Here's the bar that goes up on the left side of the windshield. That's great protection for the driver. And then, of course, there's a bar that goes up through here. Then this bar goes across and hooks into the bars on the back. And then, of course, there's a bar that goes straight up through here, too. And then there are crossbars over here. So they all tie together. And really, they did their job.
And that one you have circled, that's really important. When he flipped over that guardrail over there, that was really important to keep some of that debris from coming in with Davey.
And, of course, that door that we see sticking down in the top, the workers put that in there after they loaded the car on the truck.
Just to haul it back to the garage area.
Again, Davey is alert and conscious. In the infield medical center will probably be airlifted to a local facility for further examination and x-rays. We are back to racing. The green flag comes out on lap 161, and the race resumes now with Alan Kulwicki in the lead, and Davey had dominated this race until this point, but now with him out of the race, it's going to be a shootout. We've got Kulwicki, we've got Rudd, Brett Bodine. We've got several cars very capable of winning this race.
Here we see Kyle Petty trying to get on the inside of Dale Earnhardt.
That's going to get crowded.
Now he's going to get on the outside of Dale Earnhardt. Meanwhile, Earnhardt's on the inside of Martin Martin.
A lot of cars made late pit stops there to top off their fuel.
Class act by Dale Earnhardt to move over and let these guys go by. Because these guys are racing for the win.
Well, there's racing on the track, but we also have to dispatch some important information to you. And for that, here's Jerry Punch.
We're with Robert Yates, the car owner of Davey Allison's machine. And Robert, you just come out from talking to the doctors. What have they told you now that they've been able to decide on Davey?
Well, you know, the guy that medical attended on him gave me a thumbs up on him, said he does have a problem with his arm, but after they've checked him, he does have a fractured right arm and possibly a fracture in the left skull, left temple.
So they are going to take him to Allentown, the Lehigh Valley for x-rays?
Yes.
That's Robert Yates, a fractured right forearm and possibly a fracture over the left eye, the left orbit area. And all they've been able to diagnose so far, they're going to take him for further x-rays. But if that's all it is and that kind of violent impact, it's not good, but it could have been a whole lot worse.
And say that again. On the racetrack, it is Kulwicki and Rudd, first and second.
Kulwicki is able to put a few car lengths on Ricky Rudd in just a couple of laps we've had back since we started back racing on the green.
Not too far talking about green. Look at that green car, Brett Bodine, coming up through there in third place. Brett was coming after one of the last cautions. He was caught back in the field, but really came back up through there, so he has a strong car.
And they fan out behind the leaders. Ted Musgrave is also hanging right in there, having a good race.
Yes, he is. He's running very, very strong.
He's sixth.
And that seems to be Musgrave's strong suit, to just take it easy at the beginning, and as the end of the race gets nearer and nearer, he gets closer and closer to the front.
He has run a good, steady race here today.
As we said earlier, his best finish has been an 8th this year on 3 different occasions, so he has his best race of the year going.
And here's a gaggle of cars headed by Earnhardt, Bobby Hamilton,
Chad Little behind him.
Rusty Walsh went up on the back bumper of Chad Little. Dale Jarrett's back there in that group. Darrell Waltrip.
Dale is currently being shown in the 7th position. Waltrip in 8th. Dale's going to try to pull out and pass Rusty. Darrell comes out too. He's going to try to pass Dale.
And he does. This is from the Jimmy Hensley bumper cam.
It's Rick Mast way up high there.
Looks like the Purelator Chevrolet of Derek Coe behind him. Yep, that's him.
Cope is 20th.
Trickle on the inside of Ken Schrader. Harry Gant pulls alongside the other U.S. Tobacco car.
That battle there between Schrader and Trickle was for 9th. Up front, a good 3-car, even a 4-car battle for the lead. Not too far behind is the 5th place car, Kyle Petty. Some great competition here as Kulwicki leads them down into turn number 1.
I wonder if Kulwicki, Ned, you know, they said he took a rubber out of the right front. Now that he's out with clear racetrack and nothing, no one in front of him, I wonder if he wishes he had that rubber back in the right front.
Well, you wonder, because he had been able to come up and pass cars and pull away from them, but he's not able to pull away from these guys now. But I'll tell you, we've had these caution flags, and it has given the teams an opportunity to make adjustments on the car, so we might see some come to the forefront that we hadn't seen that much today. Brett Bodine is one of them, I think.
See, all these guys running about the same spot. Same tracks around the racetrack.
Three of the top 4 are Fords.
Closes up right behind Brett Bodine.
With Mark Martin, the roof cam, and the Fram field summary to the left. Watch for your favorite driver. First 5 cars right together on the racetrack, nose to tail. Kyle Petty is caught up with Mark Martin now. They're in 5th.
There you see Bill Elliott back in 23rd spot, but I think that's still enough. If further complicate Davey Allister's day, Bill will probably take over the Winston Cup point lead if he finishes the race today.
Separation was 46 coming in. Allison over Elliott in the point standings. So the top 5 are right together. Back in 6th position is Ted Musgrave.
He's catching him.
He sure is.
He's catching that pass.
Boy, Ted must be loving it.
I'd say he's a little excited. There we see Kulwicki trying to keep these guys from drafting, keeping up with them.
His best finish here at Pocono was 13th back in '91. This race in '91.
I'll tell you what, talking about Musgrave, I bet his crew, D.K. Ulrich, Ray and Diane DeWitt, the owners of the car, I bet they are excited down there now.
Well, they got to be. He's had a very, very good run. Ken Schrader just slowed coming off the turn 3. Apparently went something wrong with the Kodiak Chevrolet. He was running in the 9th position. And he just slowed dramatically as he came off of turn 3.
Everybody passing Ken Schrader.
Looks like he's still under power, so probably just a cylinder gone away.
He was in 9th and has experienced what appears to be an engine problem. So the lead continues to be held by Alan Kulwicki, but he has his mirrors full of race cars as 5 are lined up right behind him. Back in a moment. We'll call the action at 8 o'clock tonight Eastern time here on ESPN. There are the front 3, Kulwicki, Rudd, Brett Bodine.
What's going to happen on the last pit stop? Gas only? What do you think?
You guys are supposed to.
I think they'll have to take on tires.
You think
There's
so?
such a difference in the speed of new tires and hot rolling tires.
I think they've only got to run 5 or 6 laps.
Well, okay. If they can go that close, well then. Yeah, but I think Rick is going to have to stop with maybe 20 laps to go.
Oh, really?
Well,
Okay.
I don't know, 15 or so. There's a lot of them that did come in and top off, so they should be able to go, yeah, probably down to where maybe they only have 5 or 6 laps to go.
Musgrave has clogged Kyle Petty.
Let's go to John Kernan on pit road, who's with Buddy Parrott.
Buddy, it almost seems like you guys have come out of nowhere, stuck into the top 10, and now he's trying to make a move out there on the racetrack. What you got in there?
Well, first of all, the Jasper engine car is really working great. And well, the chassis, we were up here last time, and we had a little problem. But this time, the car is working well. The engine's working great, and the crew's doing a great job in the pits also. Ted's just, you know, we started way back 27th. We had a little problem qualifying, but he's been running real smooth all day long, and it's beginning to pay off. The only problem is we got another Michigan deal. Looks like we're going to stop for gas.
Is that all you're going to do is stop for gas on this on the final stop? Just stop for gas?
Yeah, it looks like we may have to stop about a 10, make about a 10 lap to go, and so you know, that's the deal. But the crew's going crazy. We must have got by somebody else.
Well, he's just past Kyle Petty. Now they're going to have to stop for gas. On the way up here, guys, I stopped by and talked to Jeff Hammond. He says, hey, we may try to go all the way. They were one of the teams that on the last couple of laps of that caution period, they ducked onto pit road and topped off.
Interesting. Anyway, Musgrave has gone into 5th position, passing Kyle Petty.
And the crew went crazy. But he said, we must have passed someone else because the crew went crazy.
Well, when Buddy Parrott mentioned Michigan, he had moved up into the top 5 and was really running as good as everybody up there, excepting Davey Allison. But they did have to come in for fuel near the end of the race, and that cost them several positions. But this run is similar to that in Michigan back in June.
It is tied up front. Kowicki and Rudd and Bodine and Martin and Musgrave and Petty.
Kowicki's getting a break right now because Ricky Rudd is having to worry about Brett Bodine. And he can't concentrate on passing the Kowicki car because he doesn't want to get out of position because he's going to lose a position. And that's playing into Kowicki's hands right now.
We understand that Allen will be in 7 laps.
Oh, that's plenty to go. I thought, you know, he's been out there since it was, what, about 140 laps to go. 140 laps run, 60 laps to go when they made that last pit stop. So then, does he take on tires with 20 more laps to go? It'll be interesting.
Right sides, 4 tires, or just gas?
We do have quite a story unfolding here with the pit strategy. Who's going to come out on top as far as pit stops are concerned, and who's going to come out on the racetrack itself. And while we set up this final scenario, we'll take another break and be back with more at Pocono. Well, the crowd remains enthusiastic as they watch the action on the racetrack, and the laps counting down 175 about to be completed, leaving us 25 laps to go at Pocono, USA and Pocono International Raceway. Alan Kowicki leads Ricky Rudd and Brett Bodine. Something to hoot about with Alan Kowicki? Well, yeah, he's had a good season. 2 wins so far this year, 9 top 5 finishes. He's been the leader in 11 of the 15 events that we've had so far this year, and he ranks 3rd in points, 134 behind Allison.
He's also led the last 7 races that's been run, and he's led 12 of the last 13.
Not bad.
Not bad. So he's having a great year in that Uber Sport.
And of course, one of his wins this year came here at this facility just last month. So he's making it, looking to making it 2 in a row here at Pocono.
Boy, Rudd really closed up on him that time.
Let's get down to Jerry Punch for a comment.
You know, guys, now most teams have a car for the short tracks, a car for the intermediate tracks, and a speedway car. And then they have one car they run only at Bristol. Alan Kowicki, being an owner and a driver, says we have to economize. So what I do is I find a car that runs best anywhere, and I use it to death. This is the same car he won with on ESPN early in the year at Bristol. He He brought it here last month and won at Pocono. And if he keeps winning, he's going to use this car the rest of the year, he told me.
Can't blame him for that. And you get a car that works good. There's not as much difference now, Benny, in a short track car and a big track car as the way they used to be.
No, that's right. NASCAR's mandated the wheelbases are about the same. The tread widths are about the same on both cars.
And that has made it where it doesn't make a great deal of difference.
Alan Kulwicki looking for the Winston Cup title. Is there more pressure just to do well in the races or to win that $1 million that goes with the title?
Well, I think the best thing to do is not even think about that kind of stuff. You know, if you can, just go out and do your best every week. And, you know, the best thing that would happen is if I never even knew I was in a championship battle and just go and do the best I can every week and at the end of the season see where we end up. When you start thinking about that, you start it changes your perspective on things, and that's when the pressure starts getting to you, and that's when you start doing things different or making mistakes.
As we hear that comment from the leader, Alan Kulwicki, here is Ted Musgrave, and I'll be darned if he isn't taking fourth away from Mark Martin.
I guess this crew's going to go crazy. Yeah, they're going crazy again.
All right.
Well, that car just ahead of Musgrave is Wally Dallenbach Jr. Now, we told you how he had an incident with the wall earlier in the race, but he's still out there.
Still out there trying to make as many laps as he can. He was in the garage area for a long time as they made repairs on it, but he's out there trying to make as many laps as he can. As many points as he can.
Ed Musgrave and Mark Martin, 4th and 5th. Inside Mark Martin's Valvoline Ford now. Coming off corner number 3 on the main straightaway.
Musgrave was to get up there on the back bumper of Brett Bodine to get by him and get by Rudd, and those people would go absolutely nuts if he got up bumping on Kulwicki.
Yeah, it might not only be the crew, too. It might be a bunch of these people in the stands. They're watching what's going on, too.
Oh, yeah.
And folks watch this on TV because I'm sure that Musgrave, he's from up in the Midwest and has raced the ASA circuit and all around in the Midwest, so I'm sure he has a lot of fans around the country who'd love to see him do well.
Another one of the guys that has come to NASCAR Winston Cup racing from the ASA circuit and has done very well. He was second in the Rookie of the Year standings last year.
Kulwicki got a tough break, caught that slow car up in the slow corner. That's Mike Potter. And that enabled Rudd to gain about a second on Kulwicki. He had pulled out to about a 15-20 car length advantage, but he caught the traffic at a bad spot. Now Brett Bodine caught the traffic at a bad spot going in the corner. Now he's going to lose a lot of time as he has to go by on the outside.
We talked about how Kulwicki won this race in June. Second place, Ricky Rudd hasn't won since Darlington in '91, and this guy, Brett Bodine, has not won a Winston Cup race since North Wilkesboro in 1990. And there is the helicopter that is transporting Davey Allison to a medical facility to be further evaluated. Now, the word we have is, and this is official from NASCAR and Chip Williams, the media coordinator, he has a broken right forearm, a swollen eye. However, he is conscious and in stable condition. Here comes Kulwicki and Rudd and Brett Bodine. The first 3 come in together. Here's Jerry.
Final pit stop of the afternoon for these 3 drivers. Lap 179 coming up on lap 180. Just 20 to go. Still no decision from the Hooters crew. They're talking to Alvin as he comes down pit road as to whether they will change tires. Possibly they will change just 2 right side tires. That's exactly what they're going to do. Fill it up with fuel. All 3 cars you're watching as the crews go to work. The Tide crew changing right side tires for Ricky Rudd. Meanwhile, the Hooters crew stop as Kulwicki revs it up and pulls away. And here comes the Brett Bodine Quaker State Ford down pit road. So it'll be Kulwicki, Bodine, and Rudd at dead heat headed back to turn 1.
Did they change tires on Bodine's car? I didn't see them.
Change right side.
Yeah, they changed the right side.
No, I didn't see it. Okay.
Good stop.
Rudd had a little problem on his stop. Looked like he was waiting to get the car full of gas.
And fellas, the leader of this race is Ted Musgrave.
How about that?
Here he comes. Let's see. Yep. Crew's going crazy. He didn't pass the soul. He went crazy. There they go.
First time he's led a NASCAR Winston Cup race. 5 bonus points. Way to go, Ted.
Is this the first time he's ever led a Winston Cup race?
We're checking on that, but it could be.
Tell you what, Ray DeWitt, Dick Harrick's not going to want to let him go now, you know. I'm going to say, hey, Ted, hang around, buddy, because we got some great things going here.
I think that's the situation that'll, if anything, keeps him out of that 43 car. You know, his contract runs through next year with Radius.
And Buddy Parrott said that they had just a 10-lap stop for a splash of gas. So how much gas are they going to put in it? Can he save some time? Could he win this race?
Could he win it? Stay tuned, fans. And our congratulations to Martha McCann of Kittery, Maine, who is watching us here on ESPN and correctly identified the winner of the Halfway Challenge. She wins a beautiful Chevrolet Luna to that Halfway Challenge. If you want to enter the contest at the Budweiser at the Glen on August 9th, write to Gillette Halfway Challenge, Post Office Box 2246, St. Petersburg, Florida, 33731-2246. You must be 18 years of age or older to enter, and we must receive your entry by Saturday, August the 8th to be eligible for that race. Again, Martha McCann of Kittery, Maine is the winner, and her cousin, Marianne Ward, also of Kittery, won a car in Gillette Halfway Challenge earlier this year, and if memory serves me correctly, that was for the Indianapolis 500.
Look here, Ricky Rudd has caught and passed Brett Bodine. I wonder if Brett is having some sort of a problem. It looks like Rudd pulled away pretty good coming off of that turn, but here comes Rudd back up there. Has a problem, or maybe it's just not him. It's just that two-tire change.
18 laps to go in the Miller Genuine Draft 500 at Pocono. It's anybody's race. Stay with us for the concluding laps. We'll be back right after this. We're back at Pocono, where Ted Musgrave leads the Miller Genuine Draft 500. He'll need a pit stop before the end of the race. It's predicted in about 6 more laps with 10 laps to go. Behind him is the 6 car of Mark Martin. Then comes the 42 of Kyle Petty. Now coming up just out of turn number 3 and down the front stretch here is the 17 car of Darrell Waltrip. At the moment it is 4th. John, what's their pit strategy for the rest of the race?
Hey, you know Darrell Waltrip and Jeff Hammond, they're plotting their strategy. They've been talking about it. Jeff has told Darrell, hey, conserve fuel. We're going to beat these guys on fuel mileage. They don't plan to pit, and by my calculation, they're the only ones who can even come close to going the rest of the way. And an update on Ted Musgrave, we're expecting him to pit along with Mark Martin in about 2 laps now. They've changed their strategy there somewhat.
All right, and how about Harry Gant? He's running in 5th position, and another one of those who stretches fuel mileage to the nth degree.
There is Harry Gant. He's right behind Darrell Waltrip. Now Waltrip and Gant might try to race each other for the win and stay out there. Well, that means they'd use more fuel, and
they'll both run out of fuel on the last lap.
Blow all the strategy out the window.
Who knows who's going to win?
Now, fellas, Harry Gant stopped 2 laps after Darrell did, but that was under caution, so Darrell didn't use a great deal of fuel during that period of time, but Harry does have a little bit more fuel than that.
Well, we're glad to announce that this guy, Buddy Parrott, has become the Western Auto mechanic of the race. Congratulations to Buddy and his tremendous job that he's done getting Ted Musgrave to the front of the pack.
And we saw the crew trying to figure out just how many laps they can run before they have to stop for fuel.
Darrell Waltrip is in 3rd position.
Drafting on, 4th position, drafting on Rusty Wallace as much as he possibly can, trying to save as much fuel as he can. Rusty now running in 15th position. He is a lap down.
Here comes Mark Martin in the pits. Musgrave goes right on by, runs another lap, but the Hammond Ford is in the pits, and Jerry Punch is there.
Kyle Petty is in as well.
Valvoline Ford coming down pit road. Mark Martin, his final pit stop on lap 187. They are just going to gas, make a quick chassis adjustment, and he will be away. Greg Sachs goes down. In about 7 seconds, he is gone.
No time for Mark Martin, just fuel.
Okay, there goes Kawicki down towards turn 1. He's going to be right behind Mark Martin, or maybe in front of him. Let's see. There goes Kawicki. There goes Kyle Petty, but meanwhile, Kawicki and Mark Martin are right up there, and Martin in front of Kawicki.
Sure is.
But Kawicki has fresher tires on the right side than does Mark Martin. Let's see if he can pass it. He's going to try right now. He's not going to wait.
Mark Martin's not the speed from leading the pits yet, and Kawicki goes by. That's how close it was.
And Ted Musgrave enters pit road. He gives up the lead, and John Kernan is there to watch this pit stop.
A tense moment here in Musgrave's pit. He comes in just a little hot, has to lock up the brakes. He maintained his 70 miles an hour. They're not going to penalize him or anything. It's just that he stayed at 70. He's finally away. That is a key whenever you're under the speed limit down pit road. It's some of the cars will slow down sooner.
Now, he might be able to get out ahead of the Alan Kawicki car, fellas. He's not going to get out ahead of Darrell Waltrip and Harry Gant.
Here goes Kawicki down towards turn one. I think Musgrave is going to beat him.
He's trying to get that car up to speed. Here comes
Kawicki's behind all this traffic. There's Kawicki behind all this traffic. Now Kawicki's got to get by the slow cars to get to Musgrave.
Yep. Ted being out.
Now, if Darrell Waltrip and Harry Gant can't make it, Musgrave might win this thing.
How about that?
He's got a pretty good cushion over Allen. Allen has a good many cars between he and Musgrave.
The slow traffic is going to hurt Kawicki because Musgrave doesn't have that much traffic in front of him.
Well, the drama builds.
There comes Darrell Waltrip. Harry Gant just one car behind Rusty Wallace. Uh-oh, Darrell's in front of Rusty.
Yeah,
How did he do that?
Well, he went ahead and passed him. I don't know. I thought he was back there. He ran behind him a long time trying to conserve fuel. Let's go to the pits. John Kernan.
Talking with Jeff Hammond. Jeff, obviously you guys have decided to stretch the fuel mileage again. Do you have enough in that tank?
Well, we hope so, John. We try to plan everything down to that last stop and try to get as much as we could in the car. We've been having Darrell draft as much as we can. We still got the old man 33 behind us right there. We may have to contend with him before the day's over with. But, you know, right now we got kind of boxed in, so we couldn't race with the guys we wanted to race with. So we had to go like the backup plan and see what we can do here. It's worked a couple times for us. Hopefully it'll work again today and we can hold Harry off and maybe we can get one in the victory lane.
That's Jeff Hammond, Darrell Waltrip's crew chief in about 11 laps. We'll find out if he's right.
That's the reason he passed Rusty Wallace. He looks up and sees Harry Gant coming, and he needed to go ahead.
Well, see, that's what I said. That's going to cost both of them the race, the fact they had to race someone.
Yep. Racing each other. Here's Dale Jarrett coming in. He had moved up to third, but he's got to have a little bit of fuel in the Interstate Battery Chevrolet.
We have 10 laps to go. There's Dale coming in for his final pit stop. This will be a quick gas and go. They're making a slight adjustment there on the left.
Boy, he didn't get much gas in there.
No,
he didn't get very much gas in there at all because the gas man didn't catch up to him. He run past him just a little bit. Maybe he has enough to go the distance.
Chad Little pulling out just ahead of Dale. Darrell Waltrip leads Harry Gant. With less than 10 laps to go.
Okay, now Gant has passed Rusty Wallace, and he's going to try to catch Darrell Waltrip. And this is going to cost both of them the race, I do. We'll see. We'll see.
Well, they will burn more fuel.
I know they're going to burn more fuel.
And third place belongs to Ted Musgrave.
There comes Ted.
He's coming hard behind him. I think Allen is gaining a little bit. You can see him back there. You can see him coming in, passing Morgan Shepherd.
Uh-oh, Musgrave got a tough break. The fact that Greg Sachs was able to get behind, he's going to slow him down a little bit.
When Dick Trickle is in between him. Now, Dick, I don't know if he'll have to look at us pit stop or not. Yeah, he's on the lead lap. In fourth place. Now, Dale Jarrett, mistake. He's coming back into the pits. It didn't get any fuel in the car.
That's right. The stop and go was too quick. They didn't get any fuel in the car. Dale Jarrett back on pit road as we watch the action on the racetrack. And Alan Kawicki now sneaking up on this Dick Trickle car.
Trickle moves over, lets him go.
Yep.
Dick might be trying to stretch it out and knows that Allen's running faster than him. And so he's just going to give him racing room and let him go.
I think he's going to catch Musgrave for that third spot because the next car in front of him is Ted Musgrave.
Yeah, he's mowing him down in a hurry now.
Stop. more miles. Is there enough fuel in that? Gallons? Is there 3 or 4 gallons? And believe me, when it's over that hoop, there we go. Kulwicki goes by Musgrave.
Third place now goes to Alan Kulwicki. Musgrave back to 4th.
Now, can Darrell Waltrip and Harry Gant make it the rest of the way? There's enough time that Alan can catch them if they can stay running. In fact, they're pretty far. They're about 8 or 10 seconds out in front of them.
Yeah.
So they're going
to have to run out of fuel in order for Alan to win the race.
And that's the only way they're going to stop, I think, is run out of fuel.
I agree with you. Yeah, I think they'll stay there till she quits.
Waltrip goes for the tunnel turn with 6.5 laps to go.
And Harry Gant is not going to make the charge. Gant behind Waltrip, he's not being able to close up. So
Darrell has not won a race in 1992. His best finish was 2nd at Michigan.
So what is that, 6 more laps?
Yep. Here's Rudd and Mark Martin battling for position. This is for 5th spot. Ricky gets it.
Oh, what's that debris on the race?
Looks like it's
rubber.
Rubber.
6 more laps.
Richard Petty's in for Dash Fuel.
Riding with Mark Martin,
who has caught Ricky Rudd. That's the position. They're racing for 5th spot. Well, maybe Rudd just went by him.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Gant's pulled away. Waltrip has pulled away a little bit from Harry Gant. Now he's running in on some traffic.
Waltrip making his way down the front stretch, passing Ken Schrader. There's 2nd place Gant. And now there are 5 laps to go.
That Gant might have sensed that he might not be able to catch Darrell and said, hey, let me go ahead and conserve this fuel. Let him go ahead and run hard and see if I can make it and he can't.
I called it 7 laps a little bit ago, or 6 laps a little bit ago. The scoreboard is
1 behind, I think.
It's really confusing because now they've flashed up another, per se, 5 laps to go while Waltrip's over in the tunnel corner. So let it suffice to say, I don't know how many laps there is to go.
Well, I think coming down this time there will be 4. If Darrell Waltrip should win, it will be his first Winston Cup win since June of '91 here. It will be his 82nd career NASCAR Winston Cup win. There are 4 laps to go now, and here is Alan Kulwicki running 3rd.
And Ricky Rudd coming up on Ted Musgrave. Couldn't quite make the pass then.
This is for 4th spot.
Ted's car looks like there's coming off of there.
Remember, Rudd changed tires on that last pit stop, and Musgrave did not get to change tires. He put fuel on in his car.
Go back up front to Darrell. Well, Darrell Waltrip. Here he is coming up on Rick Mast. Here is Rudd now passing Ted Musgrave and taking over 4th.
Came off that flat tunnel corner, got a good run in turn 3. Ooh, Musgrave's car is going away, Ned.
Yes, it is. Yeah, he has abused those tires. Well, what you had to do to get up to the front, he had to run it hard, but I think it took its toll on those tires, and Rudd has those fresher right side tires.
Well, you can bet that Darrell Waltrip is saying, please.
Oh, he's saying a prayer every moment around this place.
And Harry Gant's getting a little closer.
Yes, he is. He's moved in closer to him.
We're going to probably widen out here, and you can see Harry Gant just a few car lengths behind Darrell Waltrip.
Closing in.
When we come by this time, 2, 2 laps to go.
But that's 5 miles.
That's 5 miles.
It takes a little over a gallon of gas.
Let's see.
198 complete. 2 to go. Can Waltrip hang on? Can both of them hang on? Can one of them hang on? If they don't, it's going to be Alan Kulwicki winning this race.
Here comes Kulwicki. He just went by the start-finish line as Waltrip goes down in turn 1.
Kulwicki has a good lead over Ricky Rudd. Rudd, who is running 4th.
Gantz closing in, guys. He's within a car length and a half. We're showing you the interval between 2nd and 3rd. There's Alan. So you can see he's not going to catch the front 2.
Unless they do run out of gas.
Yep. This time by, the white flag will be displayed.
I think Andy Petrie told Harry Gant, forget about saving gas. You got to go for it.
Yeah, you got to go for it now. He's coming up closer and closer as they come off of turn 3. And the white flag will be waving, Bob.
Yep.
It's going to be exciting.
1 more lap to go. Yeah, the purpose of staying out there and to take the chance is not to finish 2nd. So you got to stand on the accelerator and you got to take the lead away from Darrell Waltrip. And that is exactly what Harry Gantz's motive and his desire is at the moment. However, it is Darrell Waltrip who is continuing to hold the lead as we watch that battle between Musgrave and Mark Martin. Here is Darrell Waltrip still up to speed on the Long Pond straightaway, headed for turn number 2.
He stretched down a little bit over Darrell as he went through turns 1 and 2.
Sets the car into the tunnel turn.
It's almost like Harry ran out of gas or something coming off that corner.
He's got just another corner to manipulate, and then onto the long straightaway and halfway down it for the checkered flag. Yeah, he's stretched out now over Harry Gant, and the Western Auto crew is saying, come on, Darrell, come on, Darrell. Here he comes off of corner number 3.
Didn't coast the rest of the way down.
He's got it. Darrell Waltrip has won the Miller Genuine Draft 500 using fuel conservation. He has won. Gant finishes in 2nd position. Kulwicki 3rd. Look at this battle for 4th position between Ted Musgrave and Mark Martin. Musgrave got it.
That was 5th position they were racing for, wasn't it?
Well, that was 4th.
Yeah, they don't have Ricky Rudd on that.
They don't have Ricky Rudd in there. Evidently, they missed Rudd.
Let's get out to John Kernan.
Hey, high 5s, high 10s all the way around. You guys made the right call. For a minute there, did he radio in and say it kind of gurgled a little bit on him?
Well, what it does, when you get real low in the tank, sometimes certain parts of the racetrack, it's going to sling all the fuel away from the pickup. And when it does that, the pressure will go down a little bit. And Darrell's real conscious of that. When he sees the pressure move, he'll call me. But, you know, everything went great today, and, you know, we just did a good job trying to plan our strategy. We couldn't beat them on the racetrack, so we had to outsmart them, and it worked for us.
You guys aren't too excited about this, are you?
Oh, I mean, I can't say enough about it. I mean, we lost one like this at Dover, so now we got one back from it, Pocono. It's kind of neat.
Hey, I think it's going to be a wild celebration in Victory Lane, guys.
Darrell Waltrip wins the Miller Genuine Draft 500. We'll be back to talk with him in Victory Lane in just a moment. We'll be right back. This was the scene moments ago as Darrell Waltrip climbed from the Western Auto Chevrolet and acknowledged his win of the Miller Genuine Draft 500 here at Pocono International Raceway. Darrell Waltrip, one very excited race driver. His first win since here at Pocono in June. Well, let's go down to our Kodak Winner's Circle interview. Here's Dr. Jerry Punch.
Thank you very much. And they're not excited at all, not happy at all. DW, congratulations.
Honey, where are you? Honey, this is for the baby. This is for you and Jessica and the baby. This is wonderful, honey. We did it on gas mileage. Can you imagine? She was worried about her gas mileage because she's figured it all my life.
Now you're talking about Stevie, who's back in Franklin watching at home.
Watching on TV right now, her and Jessica Lee. Love y'all.
Now, she's not close enough to have that baby jumping up and down here in his last couple laps.
Well, that's pretty close. Sometime, you know, in the next 4 or 5 weeks. So, honey, just hold on. I'll be home in a little while.
How about the gas mileage? Did you think you could make it? I know Jeff was talking to you.
I didn't think we could, but he said we could, so I just kept going, and it ran out on the last lap, and I know people get tired of hearing that, but that's exactly what happened. And coming back in and topping off, that was the saving deal for us. But the main thing is how's Davey doing? You know, he and I got together on that deal over there, but it was nothing I could do. He just kept cutting and cutting, and when we hit, he just turned and went right into the infield. So I don't know what y'all saw, but we did get together.
Well, that's the first thing. We might tell the folks almost the very first thing Darrell Waltrip asked when he jumped out of the car here is, how's Davey Allison? And we'll tell you, Davey, we think he has a broken right arm and may have a fracture above his left eye, but otherwise, he seems to be okay, DW.
Well, I'm sorry. Sorry that happened, but, you know, we were all going for the same hoe and just run out of room.
It's been a long time.
Well, it's been a year ago this race, or this spring race, I guess, so it's been almost a year, but today is, this car was good here in the spring, and we broke a gearbox. Today, everything worked good. We shifted the whole thing to death.
Darrell Waltrip in victory lane for the first time in 1992.
Thank the Lord for
and he thanks the Lord for a safe race. And another guy who's probably just as happy as DW is standing by with John Kerner.
Well, that's Ted Musgrave. A great run for you. You had to pit with about 11, 12 laps to go, or you might have had a shot at the win there. The fuel mileage was the key today.
Yeah, the fuel mileage we still haven't quite worked out. You know, it got us a little bit at Michigan and hurt a little bit here today, but you know, that Radius Motorsports Jasper Ford is coming on. Every time we come out with it, get better and better. And I just burned up the right front tire towards the end, and I couldn't hold off Ricky. You know, I did my best to hold off Mark, and I think he may have gave me a little edge at the end there to hold in front of him. But everybody ran me good today. I'm proud of everybody that I ran with, and the crew did an excellent job. The car ran well all day. I just burned the tires off trying to stay up front.
That's Ted Musgrave, satisfied with his finish today, but he thinks he could do better, and he probably will next week.
Ted Musgrave, 5th. Darrell Waltrip's win, his 4th here at Pocono, ties him with Tim Richmond and Bill Elliott for the most wins at this facility. Well, we'll look at the full field results here as this race has been concluded. We reviewed for you the top 5. Let's look now at 6 through 10. There you can see that Mark Martin finished in 6th position after that great battle right to the checkered flag with Ted Musgrave. Moving along to 11 through 15th, there you'll find Marlin, Schrader, Elliott, Hensley, and Shepard.
So Elliott will take the Winston Cup point lead after today's action. Richard Petty back in 20.
10 cars in the lead lap at the end
Dale
of the race.
Earnhardt finishes in 23rd position. Jeff Bodine wound up in 30th spot. Wally Dallenbach Jr. 32nd. Davey Allison will finish in 33rd position after that horrifying crash over on the North Straightaway.
Of course, all of these cars had trouble of one sort or another. So a couple of them might have repaired and got back out there and run some, but Mike Skinner didn't even get off the grid.
And we'll take a look now at the top 5 in the points as Bill Elliott has gone on top of the quest for the Cup standings, followed by Allison, Kulwicki, Gant, and Martin. Will be the Budweiser at the Glen. That will be on Sunday afternoon, August the 9th. We'll be live at 1 o'clock, and Ernie Irvin is the defending champion of that event. Well, Darrell Waltrip only led 12 laps this afternoon, but stretched the old fuel mileage and came out on top of Harry Gant and Alan Kulwicki. My thanks to Ned Jarrett, Benny Parsons, John Kernan, and Dr. Jerry Punch. We'll see you on Speed Week next week at 7:30 and for an IMSA race next Sunday afternoon. For now, this is Bob Jenkins. Thanks for joining us. So long, everyone.